By the time round 5 at Budds Creek was wrapped up, the riders and crews of the 2012 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championships were ready for the 3-week break. For the Orange Assault of the Red Bull KTM team, the time off would be a mix of R&R and more work.
KTM came down and tested in Florida with us at the house, so that was really helpful.
He's always like, what do you want to do? Let's go do something. Like, he can never really sit still.
I went to California for like 4 or 5 days, for 2 days of testing, and then 2 days of, we went to Sacramento for dealer show.
Actually went up to Palm Springs for the weekend. Hung out at the pool, it was so hot. But really good, just relaxing, got away from the racing and all that.
Had a good 2.5 weeks off, a lot of training.
Coming back to round 6 at Redbud, Ryan Dungey would sit in a commanding position at the top of the series with a 54-point lead over second, Moto Concepts' Mike Alessi. The 250 riders, Ken Roczen and Marvin Musquin, would sit 4th and 5th, and Roczen tied with Geico Honda's Eli Tomac at 200 points.
Hope the break has given a bit of time to think about things and work on the areas where he needs to improve.
The Redbud Round of the Motocross Series is always on or near the July 4th holiday weekend with the heat of fireworks and barbecues.
Oh yeah, the crowd's gonna be gnarly. It's gonna be so cool to ride here. Many people.
I heard so many things about Redbud. Crazy people, crazy crowd.
But this July weekend in Buchanan, Michigan was blasted with an unusual heat wave sweeping the country.
Today it was miserable.
Friday's temperature would reach 106 degrees with a heat index of 119.
We were dragging the tin on and the paint was starting to chip off.
Like my paint was getting so hot it kind of melted away.
I feel for these riders this weekend. They're going to have to find a way to stay cool.
We earned our paycheck today.
The teams and riders knew the heat would be a factor and had prepared as best they could.
There's not really that much you can do like the couple days before the race, you know. Your basic condition is what you have built over the past months.
I think he'll be fine. He's also pretty mentally strong. Like he'll dig deep and fight through it if he has to.
Already really warm, and but it's the same for everybody. I'm already sweating.
Woo! Pretty hot today.
They don't sell this jersey like this. Oh really? You mean the logos, even how the holes in it and stuff? Oh wow. Yeah.
For the outdoor series, we do custom jerseys for them, so we make them fully vented. So they get those for the whole outdoor series.
Like it doesn't seem as hot to you at this point because it's every day.
I mean, I think it's definitely nice to ride in the heat.
Yeah.
I think physically it's good.
If there was one man, perhaps in the entire state of Michigan, that was physically prepared for a day like this, it would be series point leader Ryan Dungey.
You know, some days are tougher than others. You know, the body fluctuates, but doing all the physical work before the season and all the stuff preparation that comes into this physically to get ready for it. So, you know, putting those two together, you can create a nice little plan. What's up, guys? How are you? You all right?
Dungey's German teammate Ken Roczen was going to have to deal with not only the physical heat, but the increasing pressure from his top American competitors that never shut off.
You know, it's not like he has not been trying, but I feel it's an exceptional year also in the lights. The Americans, they race until the last lap, you know. I don't know if he will admit to that, but I'm sure he feels that a little bit, that he's a little bit surprised how strong the guys pushed till at the end.
It could happen like when he closes in on the lap as he starts to not focus on what he's meant to be doing and he gets a bit of a panic.
Man, my race throttle is so much easier than my practice throttle.
That's good.
Yeah.
When the time came for Moto 1 of the 450s, the thermometer had cooled into the high 90s. But a different kind of heat was about to spark with the anticipated return of Yoshimura Suzuki's James Stewart from his crash at Thunder Valley a few weeks before. But it was soon obvious that Stewart was not back to his form from the earlier rounds or ready for the day's extreme conditions.
This is his run. Oh, it looked like he stalled the engine. There you go. Tickle goes by.
Ryan Dungey wins Moto 1 here at Redbud.
For the 250s, Marvin Musquin proved he had been busy during the break, turning his second fastest qualifying time into a first Moto hole shot. Marvin would battle Barsha and Baggett, then get passed by Roczen and eventually take a fourth for the Moto.
Blake Baggett, an exclamation point on it, wins the first moto.
My start was really good first moto, and I did a really good all shot. I was pretty happy about that. And beginning of the moto was good, and then finished fourth.
Well, it's hot, I can tell you that. It's not, you know, once the race is done, you're happy.
To perform properly, the human body needs to stay within its ideal 98.6 degrees operating range. After 35 minutes of racing in the Michigan heat, this team does their best to keep it there.
Brain freeze.
This is not actually ice floating in.
I can't sign right now, man. I'm gonna head in after this. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's great.
I don't mean to be rude.
In Moto 2 of the 450s, Dungey would battle Alessi and Christian Craig early, but would soon be leading to take the win for a 1-1 day and his 8th consecutive Moto win.
Shorter line for Alessi. No, cannot beat Dungey to the exit. Ryan Dungey sweeps it here at Redbud.
It's a champion's ride.
Ryan Mike, good, Raj. Getting off to some good starts, which put us in a good position to put down good laps, and I felt comfortable.
He was impressive. You know, he won both races, beating second place by like something like over 40 seconds.
So much shit I gotta take. This is what you've been working for, dude. All the hard work's gonna pay off now. You're working harder than anyone out there. Just remember that. When the race gets towards the end, that's when you're gonna go.
But even with the pep talk, when the gate dropped for the second moto of the 250s, Ken Roczen would be nowhere in sight.
Come on!
While Musquin would show his growing ability to run towards the front for the entire race.
Let's focus on this guy, the 70 of Roczen. Nowhere to be seen early in this race. Now he has moved up to the number 6 spot. Come on!
Lappers had been a factor all year long for all the top riders.
Get out of the way! Oh, he got hung out to dry.
On this day, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki points leader Blake Baggett had had enough.
Whoa!
Whoa, a little attitude right there by Baggett.
Yeah, he won this race last year. He wins it again this year.
As the second half of the season begins, and with the championship race so close, this was not the weekend Ken Roczen and his team had been hoping for.
I struggled with arm pump in the second moto. I felt like I was riding crap. I don't know. I feel in general I'm not riding how I should ride and how I'm supposed to ride and how I rode before.
I feel he did not ride to where he should be. And I think we need to reevaluate this program a little bit and try to get better.
Leaving Redbud, Ryan Dungey is approaching the milestone of being the third winningest moto rider in history, passing Ricky Johnson. But that's the furthest thing from everyone's minds.
We're not looking at that now. We do race by race, you know, and if it happens, then great, you know, it's awesome. But we cannot get ahead of ourselves.
It's easy to get caught up in all that, you know, but I'm out there I want to win, you know, and I'm not looking at where I rank at. At the end of my career, you know, hopefully get to a point we can look back at it, but one, I didn't get there on my own. So I think something that when we celebrate, we all celebrate together because it's a team thing.
What's Eli Tomac up to during the week between races? Join us next week at AlliSports.com/YouTube as we travel to the Tomac Ranch to check in with Eli and his family.